Hi, I'm Mike Davis, owner of Extra Mile Technology Services, and this is the 2023 Security Awareness Training video. Now, if you're thinking, oh, I work for a small company or I live in a small town, do we really have to worry about this? The answer is yes. This year, we saw at our own Auburn Walmart and then the Seneca Falls one next door and a few others in the area, criminals physically installing credit card skimmers on our point of sale systems at our Walmart. So the cybercrime stuff is not something that you only have to worry about if you're in a big city or something. Also, I gotta say, the police reported this credit card skimmer thing, and they said check your bank statement if you used the credit card terminal number 2 at the Walmart or something like that. What they didn't mention is that it typically takes 3 months from when credit card numbers are stolen to when they're actually used in an attack. So if you used it that day or anytime around there or whatever, and you check it your next statement, I wouldn't expect to find anything anyways. You need to check it every month because you're not going to know if your credit card number's been stolen. And even if you did suspect it might have been stolen, it's probably going to be 3 months after the fact when the cyber criminals actually use it. So if you've seen the Security Awareness Training video before and you're wondering, hey, what's new for this year? 2 things. We're seeing QR codes being used in emails to take people to malicious sites. And we're also seeing even more effort being used by attackers to scam small businesses. So if you're wondering what's a QR code email, basically they're sending an email with very limited information and then saying for more info, open up this QR code or follow this QR code. The reason they're doing that is it's not easy on a computer to follow a QR code, but it is on a cell phone. So people get the email, they're looking at it on their screen, and they whip out their cell phone, and then their cell phone takes them to the URL. The reason the attackers are doing this is cell phones typically don't have all the protections in place that a computer has. So if they can get you to switch to your cell phone and try to get you to the site that way, there's a greater chance that your cell phone is going to autofill your password or that you're going to put it in because you're not seeing a big red flag that, hey, this site looks malicious, all that kind of stuff. So be very careful if you get an email with a QR code in it. The other thing that I mentioned, the lengths that these attackers will go, this email was sent over by a colleague of mine. He was investigating an Office 365 hack. He was called in after the small business knew they had been hacked because of a client saying, hey, we sent the payment information per your email and all that, and how come you're still saying it's not paid? So got into their Office 365 environment, did some digging, found out that the hackers logged in once and only once, never forwarded an email out, never created any inbox rules, any of the stuff that we typically see. All they did, got in once, found the person that was sending out invoices and stuff, found a thread of a chain of emails going back and forth about a payment, copied that. Then they created a new domain very similar to the real domain, pasted that email in, replaced every single spot in that email where the legitimate email address was with a new fake one, and then picked up where the real email chain left off and emailed them back and said, hey, regarding this payment, we've got some new instructions and we need you to follow these. Sorry, we can't accept a check. It's got to be a wire transfer. The other interesting thing about this was we didn't see the normal spelling and grammar mistakes. They even included a reference to a recent American holiday, so definitely upping their game from what we've seen in the past. So in the rest of this video, what we're going to do is show you some examples of some attacks so that you can spot them and tell the fake ones from the real ones. So, how do people get tricked? Well, 3 main attack vectors: email, website, and phone. And like we saw new for this year, they may combine methods. And what do they want? Your money or somebody that you know's money. So this is a good example of a lot of the red flags that you want to look for in an email. First of all, the from address, the display name, and the email address probably aren't going to match. Next up, they're using a generic greeting instead of putting like hi and then your name. Following the scam recipe that we just talked about, they're making it look urgent and important. And if you hovered over the links in the email, you'd see that they don't go to the site that you think they are. So just looking at those few things real quick, we can tell that that's a scam email. Another thing that they'll try to do is they'll try to send you email that looks like it's from the system. Again, make it look urgent and important, like you've got some messages waiting for you somewhere and you've got to take action right away. So in that previous email, if you were to have hovered over that link, you'd quickly see that the address that it's taking you to has nothing to do with Office 365 or your mail protection software or anything like that. So easy to spot it's a scam. Now, let's say you did click it anyways, okay? If you're lucky, Chrome or Edge will warn you that it's a deceptive site ahead. Sometimes Chrome will even make the whole page red and say, hey, deceptive site detected, do you really want to continue? Okay, so if you get there, like at that point, you really should know that you made a mistake and you don't want to go any further. Emails like this, very common. Again, they're following that recipe, make it look urgent and important, like something has been charged to your credit card, and if you want to dispute it, you've got to fill out that form. This one's been around for years, where they say that, and you'll get this from somebody that you know, from their legit email address, and it's because their account's been taken over, and basically they'll say that they were traveling and they need you to send a Western Union with some money or something like that, and they'll pay you back as soon as they get there. Anything like that, just pick up the phone and call them. Often they'll include in the email that their cell phone was stolen too and whatever, but that's just a red flag, and avoid that. In almost all of these things, if you get something where the email seems a little off, just pick up the phone and call the person. If it's important, you'll be able to reach them and sort it out. These fake payment ones, sometimes they make it look like you've got money coming to you, and so you really want to dig in there and figure that out. Other times, they're sending you a fake invoice, and they'll make it look like a little bit suspicious just so that you click the attachment to open it up, and then there could be a virus or something in there. In this case, it looks like there's a PDF attached or something, but the file is really an ISO, which is the file version of a CD-ROM format, and they'll try to trick your computer into opening it like it's a CD, and then they launch the virus from there. Spear phishing, we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about the great lengths they'll go. This is called the CEO fraud. And basically what the attackers are doing is they're going out and they're paying for those marketing databases where you can get the CEO's email, the accountant's email, the names of the people, and they're getting some random email address, but they're putting the display name in there of the CEO. Now, in this example, if you look at it on the left, you'll see, oh, okay, this looks like it's from Heather, all right? But that's just the preview. If you look at the message on the right and you look at the real email address, you can say, oh, nope, that's not Heather. And if you look at the attachment that they try to trick you into opening, it's a Word document, and there's probably a Word macro in there that has a virus, okay? And like I said, sometimes these charges will seem like outlandish that you're just like, oh man, I gotta see this because that just, I know that's not right. Now, website scams, these ones, I see it all the time on the news sites like MSN.com. You are one click away from a virus on MSN and Yahoo and the rest of them. And the reason for that is the hackers are taking out ads on those sites. So they'll put ads on the side that'll read stuff like never before seen photos of Woodstock or something, like that. And you're like, oh, well, let's check this out. And you click it and it takes you to some site, and typically they'll have they'll want to do the whole thing as a slideshow or something like that. And the reason for that is they can display way more ads and force you to do a lot more clicking. Then they'll often do like this one has, where they'll say, hey, this website wants to send you notifications. Now, if you click OK, you will probably not get notifications from that site about news stories that you're interested in or something like that. What you'll get is what we call fake AV messages. Now, these things pop up from your system tray. So the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it'll pop up, and they'll change them around a little bit, but they'll make it look like it's coming from your antivirus, and it'll say that they found an infection or something like that, and you've got to click on the message. If you do, it'll take you out to a website that looks like one of the major antivirus sites, and they'll get you to click on something and then say, oh, this seems like a really bad infection. Please call our main number and we'll get you connected with a tech that can help you out. Then, of course, the tech's going to ask for your credit card number. You're going to give them remote control of your computer. They're going to wipe off all the evidence that you got that was used to get you to call them. And then when you dispute the charge later with your credit card company, there's going to be no evidence that they fraudulently got you to call that number. There's just going to be their recording of you calling in saying, hey, can you fix my computer? And yes, I authorize these credit card charges. So if you get any of those pop-ups that want you to accept notifications, just hit no. And if you do see them popping up, absolutely don't click on them. Just call us and we'll get rid of them for you. Website scams. This list is interesting because all these sites to deal with coronavirus popped up within 2 weeks of when the lockdown started. So expect that if there's political events going on or anything along those lines that's in the headlines, scammers are going to take advantage of that and try to get you to go out to their fake sites. Also, be really careful when you're trying to download software, especially like printer drivers and stuff, because it's normal that a printer driver will need administrator access to your machine to install it. And a lot of times what these scammers are doing is they'll get the legit software, add a virus of their own, bundle it in, then they'll go to sites like Google, pay to be promoted on their site by certain keywords, and then when you go looking for whatever, their listing comes up to the top. And if you don't notice the little yellow box saying that it's an ad, you can get tricked into going to it. And even Google's not immune to this. This one was a few years ago, but some clever hacker bid on the keyword Chrome and was able to get their malicious listing up above the legit Google Chrome listing. Like I said, they'll use popular news events and stuff. If you're a little suspicious, and you should be, just hover over the link in it. And this one, even though it says at the bottom, Us Daily, if you hover over it and you look at the address in the bottom left, you can tell that is not a legit website. It's definitely not Us Daily's website. Now, again, what would happen if you just ignored that and you clicked on it? Well, this one gives you the old fake blue screen of death. A lot of the times when you get one of these, they'll have an audio file playing in the background over and over that says like, "Warning, your system has been infected. Call our operators now." You know, that kind of thing. Microsoft doesn't do this. There's never been a 1-800 number to call on a blue screen of death. Also, you can tell it's a web page because the browser tabs are still up at the top. But sometimes they can trick your browser into going full screen and you don't see that. In any event, just hit Control-Alt-Delete, go to Task Manager, find Chrome or Edge or Firefox, whatever you're using, and then hit End Task. Problem solved. Your machine was never actually infected. It was just a fake website. So, switching over from the website attack vector to phone. On the phone side of things, they'll call up and they'll establish a little bit of legitimacy, and they'll use a little bit of truth and then a whole bunch of lies to build up your trust and then scam you. If you've never looked at your event viewer, you could go there now and look. You almost guaranteed will see a red X or a yellow exclamation in there somewhere. That's normal for computers. When they call up, they get you to look at it, and if you don't know what it looks like normally, and you look at it and they'll ask you, "Do you see any red X's?" And you're like, "Yeah, I do." And they're like, "Yep, that's the problem. We need to get on your computer to fix it." No, do not let them on your computer. So, in summary, any emails that you get, just slow down, pump the brakes, hover over the link, see if it looks legit. Look for other identifying things in the email that tells you it's a fraud. If you get an email from someone asking you to change payment information or anything like that, even if their email signature and you can definitely tell it's from their email account, pick up the phone and call them, and call the main number, if you don't know their voice and stuff, and make sure that was actually them sending it. Also, use a password manager, because with as many websites as require passwords now, it is like impossible to create unique passwords for every site and keep track of them. If you really don't want to use a password manager, go get yourself a password book or an address book. Those are cheap, readily available. Write them all down. Keep them next to your computer. That's going to stop hackers from getting your password off of a weak website and then using it on every other website that you've logged into. And we'll put a link to the password presentation on the screen here. If you have any questions, feel free to email helpdesk@extramile-tech.com or give us a call, 315-294-0262. Thank you and have a great day.